So this video is about how I've moved. I'm using ungrading in Canvas, but it's been unclear for students if I'm using like complete incomplete or if they're needing to use a contract grade. It's been a little bit unclear for students, especially those students who aren't completely checked into your course, or they've forgotten that there was a contract grade in the syllabus, or they were gone for a few days or a week. So there can be some confusion for some students. So let me share my screen. So I just wanted to share the process that I've gone through and the different systems that I've tried. So using ungrading in Canvas, Canvas allows you to use complete incomplete for grades, and many of you are already doing that. But just for those who might want to see again, here's my assignment. And if I'm going to edit it, I can go down to the bottom and I can change the grades from percentage or from points. I can change it to complete, incomplete. And then I just choose one of those. So I save that. And then when I go to grade each student, I'll either choose complete or incomplete. Okay, so again, if I want to grade it as complete, incomplete, I just edit the assignment. I go down to grading, and I can decide to make it with 0 points, which if I'm just saying how many complete or incompletes you need, it might be nice to have your everything worth 0 points. And then again, I just change it from points or percentage to complete, incomplete, and then I save it that way. Uh, yeah. So I would save that as a complete, incomplete assignment. And then, great. I want to look at what would it look like then for the student if we're using a contract grading system. We would need to say, make sure you're getting the completes and incompletes that you need. So let me show what that would look like. So for this student here, I'm going to click to give them a grade. And then you can see here it says ungraded, but the pull down menu will only give me 2 choices, complete or incomplete. So if I wanted, I could tell the student, you did what it was required of you, and then all your grades will just look like complete check marks. So when I go to the grade book, this is what students are going to look like. So for assignment 10.5, almost all of them got a complete on that assignment. And then it'll just look like check marks for me. And then it's an X if they got an incomplete. So that's what they're going to see as well. They're going to see what they got a check or complete for and what they got an incomplete for. Or actually in the student view, it might look like I for incomplete and C for complete. But this is what it looks like for you. So this is what you would be tracking then and you would have to go in and look at every single student. Did they complete this number of items in this category, and so on. So it does allow you to do incomplete and complete. For me, it was not sustainable. With 75 students, I was not able to feel comfortable going through once a week and counting up their completes or incompletes. I could just tell them, you need to keep track on your own. You know what the contract is. You need to make sure you have this many completes in each category. But to be of service to students, many of us try to go in once a week and give them that feedback. And for me, that was not sustainable. Oopsie, in that I wanted to, there we go. And it was really not easy for students to translate it into a grade. The top students who are checked in, paying attention, checking their grades, that's okay for them. It's those students who aren't as invested, who aren't tracking our class closely. It was difficult for them, more difficult for them to understand the system. And I would say easy to misunderstand and think, oh, my grade seems fine. So for those reasons, I moved away from that system. So yeah, that version, which I just showed you that picture of, was not sustainable for me. And myself and my colleagues would get comments from students saying, I thought I was getting this grade. Why am I getting that grade? So that caused me to move away from that system. Also, sometimes I would use complete incomplete, but then I make the assignment worth 1 point. So if you got an incomplete, you'd get a 0, or in any case, it didn't count. So if you did everything for the assignment, you got a complete. If you didn't do everything, that was an incomplete. And I had students tell me they felt like, I've done a lot of practice on this assignment, but I'm still getting an incomplete. It's as if it's just totally missing, right? And they told me they felt very discouraged from that. So that's another reason why I just shifted to a little bit different system. So I'm still using the idea of complete incomplete, but there's actually 4 layers now, and I'm putting it in Canvas as a percentage. So if you complete the checklist practice items, you get 100% for that assignment. If you complete most of the checklist items, you get a 75%. If you complete about half, you get 50%. And if you complete none or just didn't turn it in, you get a 0. This fits more with the Canvas system. So students are seeing grades. They're saying this is the percentage they have. I don't bicker. I'm not like, oh, that's an 85%. Nope, I only have to give 4 possible grades, and they are allowed to revise. So if they see they didn't get 100%, I tell them exactly which practice is missing, and then they can go ahead and redo that. That's just me, but for them to 100% understand, how am I doing on this assignment? I've turned the complete, mostly, half into percentages. This also allows them to track their grade in Canvas all the time. So I can show what that looks like. So because each practice assignment was worth a certain percentage, then students can always know exactly what their grade is. So I separate their work into categories. This was a couple quarters ago, one of the categories was process work. So you can see student number 1 has completed 44% of the work. Student 2 has completed 68%, and student 3 has completed 100%. So if we want to keep looking at what's happening with student 3, they completed 100% of the process work practice, 100% of the peer work, and 100% of their track and reflect work. They also completed 100% of their final revised essays. Now, for me, these are all just practice items. You need to do all of the checklist, but each category, then they can instantly see their grade and then their final grade, which many students won't look at their grades. They'll just open up Canvas. It's the ones who are not so used to Canvas, or they're just nervous and quickly checking their grade, and they don't look at the details. They just look at that quick grade at the top so they can see their grade and it'll be accurate. So every time they complete a practice assignment, I'm grading it complete or mostly complete with a percentage so that I don't have to do any extra work. They know what their grade is at the moment. I know what their grade is in the moment. And so this is what it looked like when I was grading this in these separate categories. I have since moved final revised essays into process work, so it's all just practice. So if I'm using that kind of system where each assignment is getting a certain percentage, I could see where I could use then this contract grade, and students could check each category. Oh, what is my current percentage for process work? Is it at least 82%? What is my current percentage for peer work? And this was the system I was using a few quarters ago, but I still couldn't get those students who were the most detached from the system or had the most difficulty believing that this was I couldn't get them to understand this. And they'd say, oh, I have 87%. And I'd say, no, you need to look. What do you have in each of these? And I'd have them report it back to me. And still, I had students struggle with a system where they had to look at these percentages, and then they had to look at their percentages to figure out their grade because it was based on a contract. So because of that, I have moved then away from this contract system, and I've actually just built it into Canvas. So my next video is going to show how have I built this contract system right into Canvas so that students constantly have an accurate update of their grades and can see what they need to do if they want to move up into the next contract.